All NBA defensive teams, 10 players total. There's
This
two
was so
defensive
difficult.
teams.
It was crazy.
It was very
And
difficult.
how I did my defensive team was 2 guards and 3 front court players. Some players listed as wings. I also listed as guards because the first team last season was Marcus Smart and Mikal Bridges was the 2, and he's a forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Giannis, Jaren Jackson, Rudy Gobert. Second team was Holiday, Matisse, Draymond, Bam, Robert Williams.
Draymond almost didn't make an all-defensive team.
My defensive first team this season,
Let's hear it.
Drew Holiday. He's first in matchup difficulty,
Yes.
defending the most pick-and-roll actions of any player in the NBA, and point-of-attack defense is ranked 3rd in the NBA currently. The other spot is OG Anunoby. He's the first-team all-defender. He leads the NBA in deflections per game. He's first in total deflections. He's second in steals per game. And when he's guarding players, they shoot 4.4% worse against him. And he's 8th in matchup difficulty and holds opponents to a 28% field goal percentage when defending them in isolation. So OG is one of the better players in the league at defense. Jaren Jackson Jr. is up next. First in defensive rating, second in block percentage at 68.7%. First is Walker Kessler, who has been really slept on as a rookie.
Agreed.
He's averaging the most blocks per game. And amongst all front court players, he's first in defensive rating. He's leading the first-ranked defense in the NBA in the Memphis Grizzlies. Before he got back, they weren't top 10, I believe. When he's gotten back, they've climbed up, and now they're number 1. And players shoot 6.2% worse on him. The fourth player is Nicholas Claxton. Second in defensive rating, first in total blocks, second in blocks per game, first in defensive points saved this season. And players are shooting 8% worse against him. And he's first in ISOs defended per game and holds opponents to a 39% effective field goal percentage. And the Nets are the 11th ranked defense. They have slid because Kevin Durant's absence. And the last name in my first team All-NBA defense is Brook Lopez. And Brook Lopez is not the switchable defender that a guy like Bam Adebayo is. I think Bam is a better defender. But for this team, looking at some of these stats for Brook Lopez, he's first in contested shots per game. He's contested 200-plus more shots than anyone else in the league. He's third in blocks per game. He's third in block percentage. Players don't shoot that much worse on him, just 2% worse. So not as big of a drop-off as other guys. And against actions like pick-and-roll actions, against the roll man, he's not good at all. He's actually 13th percentile, which is horrible. But he's first in help defense activity in the league. And he's third in defensive points saved. And he's leading the third-ranked defense. I think he is the anchor to the Bucks defense, not Giannis. But Brook Lopez has been the anchor to that defense. And that's why he's on my first team All-NBA defense. So to recap it, it's Drew Holiday, OG, Jaren Jackson, Claxton, and Brook Lopez.
You want to go, Riv?
Yeah, you can go.
All right, so I had difficulty with this one because in terms of guard play at defense, I mean, there's some good players, absolutely, but there's not many. It really is outweighed by the forwards. So for me, first player I have on my first team all defense is Bam Adebayo. Second in defensive win shares. I believe he's top 5 in terms of lowest defensive rating. He's been phenomenal, can guard 1 through 5. He consistently has done that for years. Riv has been the main voice for the Bam Adebayo fan club, at least on the Pick a Side podcast, and he definitely deserves that acknowledgement this year. I have Evan Mobley, who's first in defensive win shares. I believe he's top 6 in terms of lowest defensive rating. He's been phenomenal. The Cavaliers remain one of the best defensive teams in the league. That's in due part to Jared Allen also being there on the front court. But Evan Mobley, his ability to switch out to the perimeter as well, he is one of the better young defenders in this league, and I believe he will be first team all defense. My next guy is Claxton, to be one of the league leaders in blocks this year, to have the ability to switch on 1 through 5, and not just switch 1 through 5, but switch on 1 through 5 with elite matchups. Like, I've seen him take the challenge of Ja Morant. Like, his confidence in himself is phenomenal, and the improvement that he has shown this year has been second to none. Riv said it on Twitter very perfectly, at DuragRiv, give him a follow, that he deserves to be in the conversation for most improved. And Riv, you're 100% sound on that one. Now, this is where I have difficulty, because are there going to be 2 guards? Can we for sure say that that's going to happen, Riv?
Are there going to be two guards?
Yes.
I don't think there should be, but there's a possibility that it can be.
It's going to be a guard and a forward for sure.
I think OG, as long as he continues to stay healthy and play at this level that he has, you already listed the stats. I don't need to reiterate. OG has been phenomenal, especially for the lack thereof guards. And he's not a guard. He's a small forward. I think that he will be one of those guys to take the guard position. Bless you,
John.
And then you can't leave Jaren Jackson off this. As simple as that. The league leader in blocks, one of the best defenses in the league in the Grizzlies. He is the reason why they are at that level. His field goal percentage at one point was allowing scorers to shoot less than 40% from the field when he was defending them. He had a span of over 14 games of more than 2 blocks a game, 2 or more blocks a game. Jaren Jackson is one of the best rim protectors in this league, and I have to shed light on this, of course, because the news broke that apparently at home there's rumor or there's allegation that they stat pad Jaren Jackson in terms of blocks. Now, it's funny more than anything, of course, because people are having a field day about this, but I have genuine questions. How is it possible to inflate stats? Like, aren't these guys NBA working with the NBA? You simply can't do that. It'd be harder to do it than not to do it, and to get away with it also when every game is recorded. It's difficult for me to sit with how valid those statements and allegations are, but you simply cannot take away what Jaren Jackson has been doing.
So my first team at the guard spot, I of course also have Drew Holiday, one of the best POA defenders in the NBA. And then I got number 2. I have 3 forwards on this one. I have OG Anunoby on my first team.
Mm-hmm.
My third spot, I have Jaren Jackson Jr. on my team. My fourth spot, I have Evan Mobley on my team. And then rounding out my center position, I have Bam Adebayo.
So Claxton's second team.
I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is that I understand what Brook Lopez has been doing this year. And in terms of him being the anchor for the Bucks, it's a fact, 100%. But I think with Bam Adebayo, he covers up so much ground for a lot of weak defenders in Miami's rotation. Mm-hmm. And I think that is something you have to take into account. I know he doesn't have the statistics like these other great guys. I mean, overall, his players are shooting 44.5% on him when he's defending them. But I think when you look at the things he do as a connector on the defensive end, being able to protect the rim, also being able to switch out, has to be elite in the pick and roll, defending switches, has to be able to defend multiple guys. I think for that and the impact, Miami is the best defense. They have one of the best defensive ratings on the team when he's on the court. When he's off the court, they're like a -10 per 100 possessions. So he's very important for that team. He has to cover up so much. I think Jaren Jackson, for the most part, is like a consensus first team. He's been amazing. He's been the elite rim protector. He's been the anchor for that Memphis Grizzlies team. And for me, Evan Mobley, I have this fetish for his defense since he's walked into the league. Uh-huh. Yeah, he's been a generational defender. He has them Bam-like tricks where he can guard 1 through 5, protect the rim. And he's so long and quick on his feet and able to connect and be able to guard and pick and rolls. It's ridiculous. And then, of course, OG Anunoby. I don't think I have to say too much about that one.
If you had to rank who could guard 5 the best, Bam, Claxton, and Mobley, how would you rank them?
Bam, Mobley, Claxton.
That's how it would go.
Yeah.
My 5, we're going to be reiterating a lot of names here. I have Drew Holiday. He's year in and year out one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. We know the Bucks, they're still staple without Giannis putting up 30 a game, but we know their staple every single year is going to be defense. He has a big impact in that. So I have 1 guard. I have 2 forwards and 2 centers. I don't know exactly. I feel like everyone has a different opinion on what 5 it should be. So I just thought the 5 best defenders this season. I have Evan Mobley on here, as you guys mentioned. His versatility is just ridiculous. Cavs one of the best defensive teams in the league. You have Jared Allen there. Obviously, he plays a big impact in that, but Evan Mobley is a fantastic defender. Jaren Jackson, like Riv said, it's consensus. He's arguably the best defender in the league. What he's able to do to protect the rim, to block shots, but also be able to be versatile on the perimeter as well. You have Nick Claxton. Claxton is, breakout season. This has been his year finally that we talked a lot of shit coming into the season about them not having a center. And he always just felt he
Weak as
doesn't
hell.
look bigger, but he just feels bigger on the court. I don't know if that
Packed on
really
some
makes
muscle.
sense.
That's
You
why
know,
he had to get in the
He
weight
still-
room.
he still
We
looks,
pushed
he's still
him
a
to
little
get into
thin.
the weight room.
He still looks a little thin, but he has obviously made a huge impact for that Nets
Lateral
team.
quickness is really
is.
what stands out.
That's
to
part
me.
of the reason
long-ass
why
arms,
he's a long
Oh,
guy.
his strides are crazy.
And that's really been, I mean, you could look at KD and Kyrie, the efficiency and all of this, but if it wasn't for Nick Claxton, we would not be talking about the Nets as legitimate championship contender. He's been probably one of the biggest reasons. Obviously, KD's going to get all of that love, but what he's done on the defensive side has really made this team go from, they'll be a good team to know they're a legit championship contender. And lastly is Bam. I mean, he's one of the best defenders in the league. Like we said, the stats he puts up every single year, his versatility, be able to guard 1 through 5 and really make up for a Heat team that isn't the most talented defensively, I guess, to put it nicely. One of the best defenders in the league.
Second team.
Here we go.
First name up, Alex Caruso. Caruso has to be an All-NBA defender this year. He deserves to be in this right here. He's fourth in defensive LeBron, according to B-Ball Index. Top 3 is Claxton, JJJ, Kessler, and just to rattle off some more, Lopez, Mobley, Jared Allen, Draymond Green. So, Caruso's amongst some great players as a guard.
Mm-hmm.
He's fifth in matchup difficulty, second in off-ball chaser defense, and it just goes to show his navigation around screens and denying the ball. Second in deflections, and he's top 10 in loose ball recovers as well. And he's ninth in defensive points saved. The Bulls have the 13th ranked defense, and that's really a testament to him and Ayo. They've been their two best defensive players. They clamp up, and Caruso is...
Our guards always lock.
Yeah, he's valuable as a defender.
Miss him every single day.
Mason Caruso's nuts.
Second here...
He's arguably your best player.
Do this every show.
The second name I'm going to go with is Dylan Brooks. He's first in off-ball chaser defense.
Interesting.
And he's allowing opponents are shooting 4% worse against him, and he's 12th in matchup difficulty. I just think he is the defensive perimeter stopper on the first-ranked defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Brooks, the job that he does on Luka, on guys like Anthony Edwards, on LeBron James.
What do you mean, LeBron James?
He guarded him well.
He did. LeBron was inefficient.
And
I
Dylan
He did give me
Brooks.
fits. He's
Yeah,
annoying.
he was definitely
Trust me, he's annoying.
He was
Dylan-
fouling all game long.
That's what he does. He's annoying.
Dylan Brooks is just one of those guys who defensively, that's why he's so valuable to Memphis, because he's a lockdown defender. He truly is. I have Giannis here, second in defense rating, second in rim defensive field goal percentage versus expected, and he's a part of the third-ranked defense. I think you have to mention Giannis here. Then I got Evan Mobley, fifth in defensive rating, first in contested three-point shots. As a big man, the ability for him to guard the perimeter like this is uncanny. He's fourth in contested shots and second in defensive points saved and first in defensive win shares, leading the second-ranked defense in the league. And that's very valuable, and he could very well be first team. And then I have Bam Adebayo, second in defensive win shares,
Oh, so you did keep him
anchoring
out.
the
Okay.
fourth-ranked defense and 11th in defensive points saved. I feel like there's going to be guys that get snubbed. Draymond Green
It's gonna
might get
interesting.
snubbed, but probably I don't think he should.
I didn't hear Jason Tatum, which is what I was waiting
he's
for.
not here. He's not here.
It's a fold.
If
Top 4 in defensive win shares.
if I'm putting somebody over Dylan Brooks, it's Paul George
What
defensively.
are you laughing at?
You was waiting to use that shit,
No,
bro.
no,
Admit it.
defensive win shares.
That's why I was
I've been
like,
using it.
yeah,
all,
you've been
I've been
waiting
using it
to
all
use
show.
that.
No, I've been using it
Say
all
that.
show.
Say that louder though. Say that. What you just said louder.
If I'm taking Dylan Brooks out, it's for Paul George. Paul George, I think, has been an All-NBA defender this year.
Oh my God, he's back.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, my list is probably gonna make some noise. So for my guard spot for all defensive second team, I have Alex Caruso. That should be another one that's consensus. I also have Dylan Brooks. That should be another one that's pretty consensus.
Is it?
Yeah, for me at 3 though, I have Draymond Green. I did put him on my team. I just think towards the end of the game when you're able to either control the defense, man the rim, and then be able to switch it 1 through 5. I think it's impressive the way he communicates towards the end of games, where he puts guys in positions to defend. I think that's something you got to put into account when you talk about defensive teams. And I know he doesn't have the global numbers because his team isn't as great defensively, but you just see the impact on and off the court when Draymond Green is on. Claxton is on my list for the second team because he could have made a first team. I think it's so many guys that have an argument to make a first team. It's tough to leave guys out like Joel said. But for me, Claxton undoubtedly, makes the second team. He's been one of the best rim protectors in the league, one of the best versatile defenders in the league. He anchors that Brooklyn Nets defense. He's definitely one of the reasons why they turned around defensively. And then Brook Lopez, he also makes my second team because, of course, he mans the Bucks defense. He is the guy that helps out defender, the shot blocker. He provides so much help coverage for his guys to make mistakes. It's ridiculous because of how big and slow he looks. So, for me, that's my defensive team.
All right, so my all-NBA defensive team, number 2, excuse me. I have Jrue Holiday here. I left him off my first list, and that's only for the fact that I think that the perimeter defenders in this league have been so dominant this year, and I understand that Jrue Holiday probably will be a first-team all-defense for the fact that they need a guard, and that's going to be Jrue Holiday. But I don't know. I find the category itself super confusing. So, yes, Jrue Holiday has to be there. He takes the toughest assignment every single night. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Alex Caruso, in my opinion, the best perimeter defender in the league. I mean, he is just a pest to every single defender. I say it every single time we talk about Alex Caruso. He is dearly missed on the Lakers because of what he brings to you on the defensive side of the court and then in transition as well. But mainly what he can do on ball is just second to none. In terms of my forwards, you have Dylan Brooks. I have Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum has been on the best team in the NBA all season long, and on top of it, top 4 in defensive win shares. He's been phenomenal all season long defensively. On ball, Jason Tatum is one of the better wing defenders in the league, and I think that he needs that acknowledgement with being second team all defense. At the forwards, I also have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is on a top 3 defensive team right now. Giannis is just continuously one of the best defenders in the league. Inevitably, he'll get another All-NBA defense. And then Brook Lopez, who, again, like you guys alluded to earlier, he's been phenomenal protecting the rim, one of the best shot blockers in the league. That's my top 5. That's my top 10, I guess.
Top 10, second team. A lot of the same guys you have. I also have Tatum on All-NBA second team. You can make the argument that he's not the best defender. I understand that. Rob Will has missed some time. Smart got it last year. And honestly, the statistics don't really back up Smart as much as they did last season at the very least. But Tatum, the Celtics' top 5 defense, has been one of the best defenses in the league. Really outside the first month or 2 of the season, ever since then, really since Rob has gotten back. So maybe that goes to show maybe Rob should get in over Tatum. I also have OG on here. He did not make my first team, but he deserves to be on it. You know, he's leads the league in steals, been leading the league in steals basically all season long. One of the better perimeter defenders. There's rumors now that, he could possibly go for 3 first-round picks, and obviously he's got some offensive game to him. You're trading those picks because of his defense. And to back up kind of what we've been saying, it's so hard to get these guards in here. Not that OG's a guard, but it's hard to get these guards in here because guarding perimeter guys is so difficult. Like, even if you're the best of the best, like Luka's going to give you 30, Mitchell's going to give you 30. So no matter how elite of a defender you are, it's going to be hard to be put over these defensive anchors as big men. So as you guys have been listening to this, that's, I think, most of our mindset and logic when we're going through this.